What is up, guys? So last month, I asked all the guys on Instagram that follow me a simple question: gold or silver? Then I asked my subscribers here, gold or silver, and I started a poll. The thing is, though, that is not a simple question. And there's a lot of variables that go into gold and silver and which one you should buy and how much of each and all that stuff. So I'm going to go over all that. But I started a poll on here, on YouTube, and out of 100 votes, it was actually a lot closer than I thought. I thought silver was going to win by a landslide. But instead, 56 voted for silver, 44% for gold. So it was actually a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. So if you're new, this video will help you. If you're trying to get into gold and silver and not sure which one to buy, how much to buy of one or the other or both, this will help you. If you're already an experienced stacker, this could help you too. You might learn something. I learned a couple things getting all these numbers together and doing some research for the video. So if you don't learn something for you experienced guys, you might hear something that might change your mind about something or make you think differently about your stack. So stay tuned. Here it is, gold versus silver. All right. So the first thing I want to just get out of the way real quick. Anyone that's looking for like in-depth market analysis, historical trends, predictions, stuff like that, you know, a bunch of graphs and charts and like really in-depth stuff, I don't have any of that. I'm not saying my information's bad. I got some good info and some good statistics, but it's not like in-depth. So if you are looking for that, I know some great channels that do like really in-depth market analysis and all kinds of stuff. If you want, ask me in the comments and I'll tell you exactly which channel they are. I'm actually going to mention one of them during this video. So just pay attention to that. But anyways, if you want to ask me in the comments. All right? So anyways, the first thing, the most obvious thing, gold is the rarer of the two metals. But do you know exactly how much more rare gold is compared to silver? All right? I don't know exactly when these numbers were taken. Remember, everything I'm telling you is legit. It's from a reliable source. The only part that's a little is when they were taken, okay? I forgot to put that part together. Anyways, actually I have some written down here. Anyways, gold is estimated to have 2.5 billion ounces, whereas silver is estimated to have 4 billion in the world. But the interesting part, this is where it gets really, really interesting. Only 12% of that gold is industrialized, okay? And it's recoverable. I'm sure you've watched videos of guys taking gold out of computers and stuff like that. But this is the cool part. 56% of silver is for industry, to be industrialized, okay? Most industrialized silver cannot be recovered. Now, when I wrote that down, I was a little confused. If anyone knows a little bit more about that, let me know in the comments because I'm actually really curious. I don't know what they mean by most of it is not recoverable. I want to know why it's not recoverable. Is it a price thing? Is it a financial thing? It's not financially smart to recover the silver? Is it what? Is it a pain to get? So if you know anything else on that, let me know because that's the first time I'm ever hearing something like that. So I thought that was interesting. So yeah, if anyone wants to elaborate, please do in the comments. Silver is, okay, well, this is another thing right here. Ever since I've been in gold and silver, there's always been some sort of hype. Hype. So the latest one is 2020 is the year that silver doubles its industrial uses. It's going to be used twice as much. I don't know about that. We'll see. That's next year. Wherever I pulled this from, I want to say the article is from 2016. Well, guess what? Next year is 2020. And if 56% is already being used in industry, how are we going to double it? Anyways. Then the next part is the storage. And this is probably, if you're new, you didn't even think of that. Didn't even cross your mind. At some point, storage will become some sort of problem. And so this is where gold has the absolute advantage. Okay? Why? Well, this is a $150 piece of gold. This is a $180 piece of silver. There you go. Okay? This is $680 piece of gold. This is a $380 piece of silver. All right? So there's clearly a difference when it comes to when it comes to size, okay? And exactly how much of a difference. So the equivalent to $170,000 worth of gold would be $2,300 in silver as far as storage goes. That's pretty crazy, okay? And here's that channel I was telling you about with great information. His name's Mike Maloney. He's got a great channel. He has a whole video. It's like an hour video just on storage for gold and silver. And one of the best things that he said was silver roughly takes 128 times more space than gold. Okay? So by a landslide, gold is way more convenient as far as storage goes. And then you have to also consider the weight. Okay? You're going to have to stack a lot of silver to match the price of the gold and whatever. It's going to end up being pretty heavy. Okay? So yeah, you got to think about that too. I think he also said $50,000 worth of gold fits in your hand, whereas $50,000 worth of gold would be, worth of silver would be 200 something pounds. That's crazy. So think about that. Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. That was kind of like just the easy stuff. This is where it gets a little bit more interesting, okay? And this is all debatable, guys. You want to debate about it? We'll debate. But the other day, Salivate Metal posted a video. He did a commentary over an article that was written. And at some point in that article, silver came up as being the less popular of the two metals. Okay? That the market for the silver is small. And he was actually confused about that. But I happen to know that silver is not anywhere close to as popular as gold is. And this is how I know. So, the first thing is, I have a story of my own. My parents are originally from Italy. I went to Italy. I went into a couple of jewelry stores because I was looking for a bracelet. I've been wanting a gold bracelet from there for a while. So I was looking, and I didn't realize it, but I didn't see almost any silver anywhere. And then, come to find out, I asked my cousins that live there, and they happen to be somewhat investment savvy, and they said Europe is not really big on silver. So I started researching that, and apparently silver is like taxed in a lot of these European countries. And aside from like the UK and Germany, there's not a lot of like silver being used in general. Okay? And just so let me pull it up here. Hold on a sec. The US, India, and Mexico are the only countries left that are stockpiling silver. The rest have fallen 73%. So I don't know if that's changed because that could be an old statistic. But, silver is, in my opinion, is more of a North American commodity investment than it is, for Europe, and, some Asian countries are kind of starting to get into the silver. But I feel like silver stacking in general is more of a North American thing, okay? Where gold, okay, and this is where gold kind of takes the cake a little bit. But wait, let me bring up the positive side on the silver, though. So gold is a world market because everybody in the world is interested in gold. And it's also the bigger liquid market, okay, because of that. Silver, okay, since it's not as popular, has actually become some sort of niche. And this is, like I said, this is my opinion, but it's become some sort of niche. And, you know, in business, they teach you find your niche. And silver is the niche, I feel. You know, my advice to you, okay, if you want to offload your silver at some point and you're worried about it, in general, both metals are super liquid. I've never had an issue selling anything. There was a point in my life where financial, you know, issues started coming up, and I had to dip into my stack. Never once did I have any issue liquidating any gold or any silver. I mean, I could literally list this on eBay for 99 cents for 24 hours, and I would go to sleep without missing a beat because I know it's not going to go for less than spot. So they're very liquid, okay, both of them. Now, because silver is a smaller market and the niche, I would suggest getting involved in the community in general, because then you kind of network on people you could possibly sell to in the future. You're always in the loop. So if you could figure out a way, maybe not doing a YouTube channel like this, but maybe if you could find another way to kind of get involved in the gold and silver community, you will find your market or the people to sell to when that time comes. All right? That's my advice on that. Where are we at? Then gold happens to be, gold is more for the older people, and I don't know how to put that in a nice way, but the older tend to lean more towards gold. It's an older person metal. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anyways, but it's also for the wealthy, okay? Silver seems to be more with a lot of youth, a lot of millennials, a lot of younger crowd with the silver. I'm not saying if you have gold, you're old. Don't get offended, anyone. But I got gold, so I must be old. But it typically, gold is for the wealthy, where silver, it could also be for the wealthy because, I mean, I've seen guys just unload their whole stack on top of a table when I don't understand how the table doesn't collapse with some of them. So there's wealth in silver too. All right. And then gold happens to be the steady one of the two. It's not as volatile as silver. Silver typically outperforms gold in the long run, especially during like economic anything, turmoil, whatever. Perfect example is the 1970s. I have this little statistic here. In 1970, inflation was up 14%. There was a threat of the Cold War going on. Russia invades Afghanistan. Silver industrial demand fell while the supplies rose. Yet, from 1970 to 1980, a $100 investment in gold or silver, okay? So if you would have invested in gold, it would have equated to $2,300 in 1980. Silver would have equated to $3,100. So it outperformed gold during that craziness in the 70s. Okay? So, and that's not the first time it's done that. It's done that a couple times, I think. So that's usually, basically what happens is gold gets too expensive at some point, and all that money that would have gone into gold starts going into silver. And then you also have something called a gold to silver ratio, trade ratio. And that also plays a factor, but I won't get into all of that. So those little things make a difference. At some point, the gold market is mostly driven by two things. By jewelry, believe it or not, I know it sounds weird, but jewelry and investors. So once the investment starts losing a little bit of that appeal, silver automatically becomes the more appealing metal out of the two. Okay? And it has more upside. Like I said, I think I already said that. It has more upside. Okay? In my opinion, it has better upside. But like I said, it's also the more volatile of the two. It's not a guarantee. Neither one is a guarantee. Okay? But they can be both be used as like a safe haven for your money. All right? Then we have, this is $150. All right? This This is 150 bucks. How fun is that compared to holding one of these? I mean, you know what I mean? Look at this. It's just, there's a big difference. You know, gold could get boring real quick, and you could actually lose steam because it's kind of not as fun. You might be laughing, but it's a true thing. I'm telling you. Especially if you start going on YouTube, you see guys just slamming all these huge pieces of silver, and you're sitting here like with your little, oh, look. You know what I mean? I have to say, I'm big on the fractional gold, so I'm making fun of myself here. But when there's a bunch of these little coins, it is pretty cool. But it still does not compare to having some heft. You know what I mean? Does not. So silver takes that. Way more fun than gold. And you need to have money for gold, too. If you want to get some cool stuff, you got to have some money. Because, you know, 1 gram of gold is like 30, 60 bucks. Oh, my God. I don't even remember now. I should have looked that up before. I have all these statistics. I don't know how much a gram of gold is right now. But I think it's like 30-something, 60 bucks. I don't know. Correct me in the comments. But, you know, it's just like... I don't know, man. It's just... Silver is just the way funner metal of the two. It really is. So, all right. Then gold. All right, if you're new, gold is the more complicated of the two to start buying. Silver is by far easier to understand than gold. Gold also has a kind of reputation for counterfeits. Silver has a very unique density where gold doesn't have that same density, and it can be counterfeited. You know, the double eagle is one of the most counterfeited coins in the world, and that's a gold coin. Where, you know, silver is a little harder to counterfeit. You know, this is part of the reason why, and I said it in my fractional gold video, this is part of the reason why I buy these little fractionals, because the likelihood of someone counterfeiting these is just so slim because there's not much money to be made. Okay? But anyways, silver is the safer bet. If you're new, I would suggest don't mess with gold. Do your research and like really get comfortable with silver before you start moving on to gold. One of the biggest mistakes you make is start getting into gold before you even understand silver. So I think silver is the learner's metal. Okay? That's my opinion on that. Then, a lot of the mainstream media always praises gold, okay? And correct me if I'm wrong, because whenever there's any talk of precious metal and it's like praise, it's always gold. Silver is not even mentioned. It's always gold. And sometimes, well, they might mention silver. They'll be like gold heavily outperformed silver. So the article that Salivate Metal was reading that day I was telling you guys about just now is basically an article just bashing silver. So that's what I'm saying. The only time silver shows up in mainstream media is for something negative, okay? And you might not think it's a big deal, but it actually is kind of a big deal because, you know, if people don't buy, there's no demand, then the value kind of doesn't move. You get what I'm saying? It's with anything. It's not just gold and silver. So just from pop culture, just from movies that we watch, like gold is always like gold. You get what I'm saying? Like it is gold. That's the top of the line right there. Gold is what you want. You know, treasure chest full of gold, end of the rainbow gold. You know what I'm saying? So we're fed that since we're kids. So silver in some way is like the ugly little, you know, stepchild in the basement, like Cinderella, whatever, of precious metal. And it's sad, but it's true. It does not have a good reputation, okay? But maybe at some point that might change. Usually I read one article, doing all this research, I read one article, and it was actually the one that I read. The 1970 inflation was 14%. That whole thing with the Cold War, and if you made a $100 investment, that whole thing, that was the one positive article that I saw in a long time. But guess when it was written? In 2012. Okay? Yes, silver was performing really good in 2012. So they were going along with the trend. Okay? But there's no faith in silver other than that. Unless it's already trending, There's no faith in silver. So, you just gotta really make your own decision when it comes to buying this stuff. And you can't let the media and you can't let channels like mine influence your decision. You got to do it on your own. But you have to understand it too, okay? That's important. So I have the 1 to 85 ratio, the gold to silver trade ratio. Okay, right now it's 1 to 85. So basic layman terms, for every 85 ounces of silver, you can get 1 ounce of gold. That's what the trade ratio is, okay? But I'm trying to explain it in a way where it's not confusing as hell. So basically, 85 ounces of silver will get you 1 ounce of gold, right? So then that would be one extreme. So now that's the biggest ratio we've seen in a while, 85 to 1. So anyone that has gold would trade into silver. When silver starts closing that gap and it gets to 30 to 1, like I was saying, then they do the opposite. They trade in their silver to get the gold because the gap's closing. Eventually that gap is going to separate again, assuming it's going to separate again, and you just keep doing that. And what happens is you start piling up a bunch of gold and silver, and all you're doing is going back and forth between the extreme of silver and the extreme of gold. Does that make sense? My stuttering and trying to think of a way to put it together probably confused you guys a lot. But so that's the basic idea, okay? So that's what gold to silver trade ratio is, okay? So you want to hit them both during both of their extremes, their peaks, all right? Now this is the biggest thing that really sets the two apart. When there is a bull market, silver really outpaces gold, okay? So when things are kind of chill and relaxed, not much going on, the prices seem like they're steady, that would be the time for you to buy some gold because everything's kind of cool. When the bull market comes, you want to have enough silver for that because it's going to go quick, okay? It goes quick. And guess what? It comes down quick, all right? Who knows what could trigger it? There's a lot of people saying different things. A lot of analysts saying one thing and others saying another. But it's just like the stock market. And don't buy with your emotions. It's just like the stock market. Okay? You can't buy this stuff based on emotion. So you keep reading, the bull market's coming. Silver's going to 1,000 an ounce. All this stuff, you cannot let that influence your buying. You got to kind of keep it going the way you're doing it and what you're comfortable with. That's important too. Okay? So the whole point of that little segment right there is there is always going to be hype over gold and silver. Just keep doing your thing. The best way to really understand what gold and silver are going to do is to actually, believe it or not, pay attention to the news. And actually pay attention to some stocks too. Okay? Because that kind of stuff is what really moves the market. And no one can hype any of that. It is what it is. So that's what I do. I pay attention to the market, the stock market, and I pay attention to the news. Okay? So you see things are going a little sour at other parts of the world, then, there could be a possibility of a bull run at some point. It's been pretty quiet. If you're new, silver and gold's been pretty quiet. We just went over some couple highs, 3-month highs or whatever for gold, but nothing to write home about. You get what I'm saying? So just pace yourself for whatever you're comfortable with. That's the important thing. That's the most important thing. Okay? All right. So gold versus silver. Which one is better? I don't know. You guys decide. But if you're new, it really, the factors you need to consider before you start buying are silver is the easier one of the two. Gold is a little more complicated. The storage is easier. If you got money, if you got some serious money, you can go with gold. just pay attention to channels like these, like mine, and see what kind of coins the YouTubers are buying, because then you at least have an idea of what's popular and what's safe to buy and stuff. And always ask where to buy, and always have a variety of where to buy too. That's also important. So anyways, gold versus silver. I don't know who wins, but those are the statistics I have. If you want to add anything, put it in the description, comment. If I said some wrong stuff that you think and you want to debate, put it in the comments. And I hope this helps somebody. I think it's an okay video. It's a good video. So I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll be showing you more coins. Lately I've been buying a lot of numismatic coins. So I'll be showing a lot of those coming soon. All right. Like, subscribe, comment. Start those debates down there. It'll be fun. And I will talk to you guys later. Oh yeah, stickers for sale in the description. All right, talk to you later.